What is going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel, Movies and Reactions with Chris. I want to say happy Friday, and because it's Friday, you all know, if you're not new to my channel and you've been around for a little while, you know what that means on my channel. Happy Friday the 13th Fridays. So we are back at the infamous Camp Crystal Lake. We are going to try to survive and not get slashed by that maniac Jason Voorhees. So with all of that being said, we're going to be talking about Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. It's a film it's a guilty pleasure film for me. I will admit that this is probably top, like, the worst 5 Friday the 13th films within the whole fandom. But I have a good time with this film. So with all of that out of the way, let's get into it. So I'm not gonna lie, I've seen a lot of rankings on this film. We're gonna talk full spoilers, by the way. Not gonna be exact play-by-play. I'm just gonna talk about the good, the bad, some of the kills, and ultimately how this film comes to its resolution. So I've seen a lot of rankings on this movie, and usually this is in the bottom 3 when people do their Friday the 13th films, all 12 films ranked. I guess 11 if you don't count the reboot. But I've seen this usually in people's bottom 3. I think for me, it might be in my bottom 5. It might even escape the bottom 5 because there's legitimately, like, I can think off my hand right now, there's like at least 4 of the Friday the 13th films that I actually despise. I don't despise this film. I actually like this film. One of the reasons why people hate this film is because, spoiler alert and surprise, Jason Voorhees, for the second time in this franchise, is not the killer of this film. A lot of people hate the killer in this film, who is Roy Burns. One of the things I will ding this film for, I don't really hate Roy Burns as much as everybody does, and I'll get into a little bit of his backstory. I despise this film. Well, I don't despise this film. One of the things I despise about this film is the plot, what ultimately sets this film in motion, and what ultimately gives Roy Burns his motivations for doing what he does in this film. Don't believe me? Take a look.
Well, if that's the way you feel, forget it, Vic. Just forget it. But I think you're really out of line.
Yes, my friends. This film, the plot, is set off by the fact that Joey, who you just saw get axed in the back, Roy Burns is his... Joey is the illegitimate son of Roy Burns, who is a paramedic in this film. And he literally gets axed in the back for being annoying, basically, for trying to give a guy who clearly has a lot of anger problems a chocolate bar and being annoyed by the guy. So when Roy Burns gets there and discovers that it's his son who got murdered, he basically snaps. He basically goes nuts. And another thing, since I started off with the things I despise about this film or dislike about this film, I'll stay with the bad first and then I'll talk about the good. So to keep with that, one of the things I hate about this film really makes it obvious that Roy Burns is the killer. A lot of people say it's like a Scooby-Doo-esque ending, and I'll explain that later. I really don't have an issue with that. I actually thought it was kind of cool, but the scenes where we do see Roy Burns, it's kind of obvious that he's the killer. He's the only consistent thing. They tried to build this film up like Tommy Jarvis, who was our protagonist in the previous film, who killed Jason Voorhees. If you don't remember, here's a quick reminder for you all. Always a brutal kill, no matter how many times I see that clip. So Tommy is responsible for killing Jason in Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, which, spoiler alert, we're here, is not the final chapter. So in this film, they really build it up like Tommy is the killer, and I could see how people get that impression because this is one character who has been plagued by Jason since he was a child in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. He kills Jason, but In this film, he's a teenager. I don't remember if they state if he's like 17, 18, but he's troubled. He's going from group home to group home. So that's basically what they were trying to do with this film. They're trying to make it look like Tommy was the killer. And I guess if you had never seen the previous films, I guess you could kind of understand how. But I mean, even seeing this for the first time, I kind of knew that it wasn't Tommy, because it just didn't really make any sense. I mean, you could clearly tell, like, the way the imposter Jason moves in this film, how big he is compared to Tommy, that it's clearly not the same person. So, I mean, I appreciated that they tried to do that. But like I said, to talk about one of the bad things, like, every time you see Roy Burns, it's just kind of like obvious. Like, it's like those. I see why people say it's like really Scooby-Doo-esque, because every time you see him, he's doing something weird where you're like, okay, something's not right with this guy. Not suspicious enough for you? Wait, there's more.
You talking to me, Sheriff? Huh? Oh, I thought you was talking to me.
No, Roy, he was not talking to you. But to get back to, I think that's really kind of it with things I don't. Oh, you know what? Almost forgot the characters in this film. Outside of like the main protagonist, which is Pam, Reggie, who's like the little kid in this film, and I think they kind of got that formula from the previous film with Tommy Jarvis being a kid in that film, and then Tommy Jarvis in this film. And honestly, I can't even say Tommy because it's hard for me. Okay, I'll take it back. Outside of Pam and Reggie, everybody else in this film is kind of really unlikable. Like, the teenager, like, this is one of the films where this was kind of like the start for me with the Friday the 13th films, where I was like, you know what, Jason, Imposter Jason, have a way, kill away. I'm here to watch you kill all of these unlikable characters that I do not like. I don't really dislike Tommy. It's just the way the actor who portrays him in this film, and I'm pretty sure they told him to act this way, he's just so hard to read. And even I've rewatched this film like twice. I don't even really see how Tommy is one of the protagonists in this film, because it's like when you do see him, if they were going for like a real PTSD type thing, I think they probably nailed it with Tommy's portrayal in this film, with him being kind of like, and I don't want to say crazy because I myself have PTSD as a veteran, so I would never call anybody who has PTSD crazy. But if they were going for a detached type of persona, because a lot of people who do have PTSD are detached from like reality sometimes, like they can, you know, get lost in their thoughts and things, and, you know, especially when something happens that reminds them of the war or the trauma or whatever they went through, they can kind of like go in and out. I've had that happen to me before, so I understand that. I think I can understand that. Maybe that's why I like this film a little bit, because it deals with something that I personally deal with. So maybe that's why I can have a little bit of a good time with this film. But it's like when he's there, he's not really there. He doesn't really say a whole lot in the film, and they really spent. I think the actor, I think, overacts a little bit. Like, there's scenes where he's doing things like beating people up, like, because I guess he's going back to the trauma, and they even show that in one of the scenes where they go back to him and they show him, and in his head he's hearing himself say die, 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 which is what he basically was telling Jason as he killed him. So I dug it, but I think that they overacted it a little bit. He should have had more lines. He should have had more things to do. He should have had more things to say. Now, with all that out of the way, that's my negatives, so I can get into some positives. I appreciate that this film tried to go in a different direction, and I don't hate that they didn't bring Jason back for this. Some people said this film would have been better with Jason. I don't know. I mean, sure, maybe, but I actually kind of like Roy Burns. I'm not going to say he's on the level of Jason or Pamela Voorhees, obviously. Like, if I were to rank the three killers within the Friday the 13th franchise, he would be at the bottom of my list. But I understand why he kind of snapped and did what he did. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's so similar to Pamela Voorhees. But I enjoy them trying to do something different, and maybe I have a good time with Roy a little bit, just because that was kind of my introduction to Friday the 13th. The game was like the Part 5 Jason, in which if you play the game, it's actually Roy Burns. I like the theme song and all of that, so maybe that's why I have a good time with, I'm not bothered by the Roy Burns stuff. I'm telling y'all, every time I'm playing Friday 13th, the game, and I hear that theme song, that particular theme, which is from Friday 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, I get instantly freaked. It, to me, is one of the scariest ones in the game. And I like this soundtrack. And like I said, maybe because of all of this, the game, and, how they try to go with the PTSD stuff, maybe that's why I can have a decent enough time with Friday 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, even though I know that this film is one of the weaker ones within the franchise. Another thing I really like about this film is the comedy. Like with Friday 13th, the final chapter, I don't know if the comedy was intentional or on accident, but some of it is really hilarious.
Some damn enchiladas.
You gonna be all right?
So with all of my positives and negatives out of the way, the film basically ends with Roy, who at the time they're not sure which, if is it the real Jason or not. Basically Roy cornering Pam and Reggie in a barn, which looks a little similar to the barn from Friday the 13th Part 3. I'm pretty sure it's not the same one, but it looks similar. So they get cornered by fake Jason, imposter Jason, aka Roy, and ultimately what ends up happening is that Tommy comes, he just happens to be walking in, and they kind of inform him to watch out, and then he gets into a little tussle with the imposter Jason, and basically what happens is Reggie jumps from some kind of, I don't know, a ladder or something, and knocks Roy off the edge. He still manages to hang on to the end of the barn, and then Tommy is able to pick up a machete, slash Roy's arm off. His hand comes off, and he falls onto a bed of spikes, and he's killed instantly. His mask comes off. So it's really, people say it's really Scooby-Doo-esque. I guess I see how they were talking about how they would do every Scooby-Doo Where Are You episode, where at the end they would unmask the villain, and they would say, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids. I guess I can see where people say, compare this to Scooby-Doo. But I actually like that we kind of get this film. It kind of reminds me of Part 1 a little bit, how we don't really see the killer. We literally don't see Roy or Imposter Jason to the end of the film. I really dug that. So, and then the film ends with Tommy in the hospital, and then there's that, I don't know if it's a dream sequence or not, I can't really tell. Acts like he's about to kill Pam. He sees a hallucination of Jason. He's been seeing hallucinations. When we do see the real Jason in this film, it's hallucinations of Tommy's memory, his mind, just playing tricks on him. So when the film ends, he's got the imposter Roy mask on, the imposter Jason mask on, he's about to kill Pam, and then it cuts to the credits. So I know, well, I can't say I know he didn't kill Pam, but spoiler alert for Friday 13th Part 6, Tommy comes back. That's another thing I do like about this the stretch of films, 4, 5, and 6, is that it's the Tommy Jarvis Friday 13th films. All 3 films feature Tommy Jarvis very prominently, played by 3 different actors. So I have a good enough time with this film. I'm gonna rank it. If I didn't have a little bit of a soft spot for this film, I would say disappointment on my ranking scale. I'm gonna say meh, because I have a decent enough time with this. Some of you are gonna watch this film and you're gonna say this movie sucks. You're fair. You have a right to have your opinion. And I could if you say it's a disappointment or it's absolute garbage, I respect your opinion. I just happen to have a good time with this film. I like that they tried to go in a different direction. I like that it wasn't just Jason, even though it was an imposter version of Jason. I like that it wasn't just Jason once again going around Camp Crystal Lake killing off teenagers. I like the PTSD stuff because that's something that I feel like people don't understand that a lot of people deal with. So I have a decent enough time with this film. Like I said, I'll admit it's not a good film, but it's meh, middle of the road. It doesn't really add anything to the Friday 13th franchise. So If you rank it on your list as one of the worst Friday the 13th films, feel free. I might even do that myself, but it's the one I can tell y'all right now. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Friday the 13th Part 9, Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason X. All three of those movies suck in my opinion, and I think that this film is better than all three. Some of you might disagree with me. I'm just gonna say that. I haven't covered those films. Next Friday we'll be talking about Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, which, spoiler alert, brings Jason Voorhees back from the dead officially. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you had a good enough time with it. If you're new here, please consider hitting the subscribe button, becoming a part of my YouTube family, and I'll catch you all next Friday when we talk Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. One film that a lot of people say is the best Friday the 13th. Is it? We'll find out next Friday. Catch you guys then.